All right, welcome back into Cherry Picking, 10th episode of the 2025-2026 NHL season. Alongside me, Babs as always, and we've got Larmer on the mic today, our true in-house diehard Rangers fan. No biases at all.
No biases.
So good to have you on the panel today. Babs, what do you...
Big Phillies fan.
How do you
Phillies
feel
fan
about
right here.
having Larmer on the show today?
I mean, it's just interesting. He's got a lot of insight on his Rangers. Maybe we'll find about that later.
Today's episode's a good one. We're going to talk about the current state of the hockey at the Olympics because it might not happen. And then we'll get into the fantasy hockey segment of the show. We're going to be each going through two guys that we're going to add for next week and even the following week too. We're looking ahead. All right, so for those who aren't filled in on the current state of what's going on with the Olympics and hockey right now, so in Milan where they're building the rink for the players to play hockey, it is very behind schedule. It's not up to standards at this point. They had NHL executives go over after the Sweden series that Pittsburgh and Nashville played in to go check the ice, and they said they had to make major progress if they were going to have their players, and I guess the league go and play there. The IOC has no plan B. They are confident that they're going to be able to have hockey played in Milan for the 2026 Olympics in February. Do you think it's going to happen? I'll start with you, Bab.
No, it takes a lot to get the ice ready, and the PA was there as well. So it's not like this is like the NHL trying to wiggle out because the owners hate the Olympics. The PA went there and went like, nah, this isn't good. It takes a while to get it right, and the way you get it right is you run games and stuff at the facility. But to keep in mind, this isn't just like a new NHL rink. This is an Olympic rink that's going to have people the whole time, multiple games. The KeyBank Arena in Buffalo, well-established arena. World Juniors, ice was choppy. You want to know why? Multiple games back to back to back. How's a new arena going to get prepared in time? What if they have issues with the compressor?
Yeah, I didn't think about the compressors.
So, that's a major thing. If the compressor's not able to maintain, or it's too humid because it's packed all day long, you're going to have soft ice. Guess
not
what?
That cold in Milan.
And the NHL, guess what? They won't play on soft ice. They'll just say no. And it's not just, like I said, not just the owners. It's the PA will not let it happen either.
Yeah. Larmer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously to counter that. I do think the Olympics are going to be played. I think considering the success that I know the NHL owners don't necessarily profit off the Olympics as much as they would like the Four Nations, for example. But when you have an event that is as big as a success that the Four Nations was, I think the IOC and especially the IHF are it would be an absolute fumble by them not to kind of push harder for these rinks to be ready. I understand it's tough dealing with the weather in Milan. Obviously, it's a new environment. It's also a new arena.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables that come into play, but it's definitely a major fumble if it doesn't happen. So there needs to be higher success or a higher push from the IOC to get this done. I also think Bettman had a good quote where he was explaining that he was their invited guest. So I know the NHL doesn't necessarily have that much say in it.
Zero say. To be honest, in terms of how it's being built and everything. They can. I'm sure they can ultimately agree to pull out of it.
Yeah, for sure. But I also think that while they may not have that much say in what gets done or how it gets done, I would be shocked if there isn't any push from Bettman behind the scenes to try to get this done, considering the growth of the game and how much this would actually benefit ice hockey and hockey as a whole. So in my mind, it's still going to be played. I know it's hard when you're sending players over there on unready ice, especially it's dangerous. It's going to be in February heading into tough months for the NHL season, but I think it's going to be played.
So I think that's the biggest thing, right, at this point, because I remember Friedman talked about it on his podcast of how back when players were going to the Olympics, Garth Snow was one of those GMs that was really adamant of being like, well, what if my player gets hurt? He obviously didn't like it. I'm sure there are GMs amongst the league who aren't thrilled about it, and you look at a guy like some of these younger players or even any of the star players. If this gets approved, but the ice is still wishy-washy, it's temporary ice, and this is a brand new building. Think about in Sochi, the rink was ready months before, and it's also probably been it was in Russia. There's not a lot of hockey rinks in fucking Italy.
Yeah.
No.
So if you're a GM and if you're the Oilers GM and Connor McDavid is getting ready to go to the Olympics, he's I want to go, even if the ice is shitty. How do you have any say in being like, no, you can't go? Well, maybe not Connor McDavid's a bad example, but maybe a different kind of player, maybe.
The PA will, if the PA thinks it's bad, the PA will have a say. And that's the collective group of the players, not necessarily all the ones participating.
Right.
So there is a voice. The issue is you compare Russia, battle-tested the arena to have people in there and play the games. Are they going to just have the first time that there's actual competitive games being played when the Olympics start since they're this far behind? That's the major concern because there's issues you will not find out about until you run the arena through a few times.
Yeah.
If they can't run it through, this could be they could fuck it up completely and delay games.
Yeah.
So they brought it up. were supposed to have test events in December there, but they've already been canceled because the rink's nowhere close to being ready. So those are going to be happening in January. But the first game slated to be a women's hockey event February 5th.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think I'm more in step with Larmer. I totally get like all the trepidations around it, but I do still think people have been begging for hockey to come back to the Olympics. I'd be so surprised if it ends up fully being canceled.
Yeah, and I think that plays a big role into understanding as a GM that you will send your players. I mean, we haven't had Olympic best since 2014. It's been too long of a delay, I'd say, in terms of getting best on best at the Olympic level. But also for a lot of players who go and play that event, regardless of what country you play for, you're staying fresh for those 2 weeks. A lot of players are going off. They're taking vacation. I get it. It's kind of the dog days of the year when you get into February and players need the rest. They want the rest. But now you're staying fresh. It's best on best. It's also dry. Like nothing really drives competitive nature like playing for your country. So for a lot of teams that are going to head into a deep playoff race, like right now we're looking at the East and it has jumped.
Yeah.
Everybody's packed together.
True.
There's crucial points come February and after the Olympic break where you're going to want guys playing at a competitive nature in playoff mode, and nothing really is going to drive that like the Olympics would.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could definitely have a positive or like negative butterfly effect after it. Time will tell at this point. Like I said, the NHL and NHLPA have given the IOC about a month. We've said where we've stood at this point, but it's going to be up to the players and the league when it comes down to it in February. All right, into the fantasy hockey segment of the show. We're each going to be going through two guys that we're going to be adding for next week, and even maybe, for the entire season is the goal. Babs, we'll start with you.
Yeah, hopefully you guys give me a goalie to add because Stuart Skinner laying eggs for me. But who didn't lay an egg, who we talked about last episode, was Evan Rodriguez, who I picked up just to play on Monday night as I streamed some other guys throughout the week. He's 9% rostered. He has 4 games coming up this week that starts on December 1st, and I'm very excited because I'm going to try and run him again.
Okay.
A second line, and he's performed pretty well. Also, he plays every forward position, so he's very good to slot in wherever you might need him.
True. Larmer?
I got Joel Farabee. He's got 3 goals in his last game, 3 goals in his last 3 games starting now. If Calgary wants to get into a hunt here, they're going to have to start playing well. A lot of it relies on him. They also have some pretty good competition, including the Sabres, Mammoth, and Pred. So lots of kind of weaker teams or on-par teams with the Flames where he can start to generate some offense. They also play Detroit, who kind of has shaky goaltending, pucks on net. He's starting to get a little bit hot, and I would look at him to he's got moved back up in the top 6 as well. So he can pick it up.
I feel like Huska's looking for scoring from just about anyone at this point because it's not really coming from too many spots. The first guy I'm picking up, I talked about him when we looked at Babs' team as well, Zach Bolduc on the Montreal Canadiens. He's playing on the first line with Slavkovsky and Suzuki. Hasn't necessarily produced the best since he's been given that opportunity, but with the centers out for Montreal, I can't really see Marty St. Louis changing the top 6 all that much. I know they just signed Alexander Texier, but I don't think that's going to make him move Slavkovsky, Kapanen, and Demidov off the line because they're playing pretty well, which will keep Bolduc on the first line and the first power play. I was at that Leafs game. The first line was buzzing, and the first power play was also moving the puck really well. So I feel like we're going to start to see Bolduc get a few more chances and start to score a little bit more here. And Montreal plays 4 games next week and the week after that too. So this is a guy that you can pick up for pretty much the first 2 weeks of December.
This is a guy I think that a lot of people already picked up because of the 4 games Dallas was playing this week. Jamie Benn, 15% rostered right now, 4 games next week as well. I think he'd be a fantastic add. Slotted on the second line right now, but in terms of valuable players who in the past have performed really well, this would be one of the guys that might be sneaking as this Dallas team really starts to ramp up. Could be a decent ad considering most people dropped him while he was out.
Yeah, another guy I like is Maki Samoskevich. Moved back up to the first line with Lundell and Marchand. They have a 4-game homestand starting this week, including Toronto, Nashville, Columbus, and the Islanders, so pretty good competition. I think you're going to see Florida kind of kick it back into gear here. You want to say it was a little bit of like a Stanley Cup hangover. You can give him that. They've obviously dealt with injuries, but he's a guy, he was a first-round pick out of Michigan as well, so he's got to kind of pick it up and play to his level of status. But I like him. He's got 3 points in his last 5 games as well, and he's going to continue to play high minutes with good players.
Yeah, shocked to see, he was less than 10%
rostered? 5% rostered.
5% rostered. We were
that's
shocked.
Crazy for a guy that he had a really good end or a really good postseason end of regular season last year, and has kind of turned that into this year as well. I kind of cheated with my last pick, but it's because I think this is the last final opportunity, depending on how many people are in your league, to pick this guy up. And it's Simon Nemec on the New Jersey Devils. He's 30% rostered, but even at 30% rostered, I think that's insane. I think he should be closer to 50, 60% rostered. He's playing on that second pair with Luke Hughes right now. He does play on the second power play, but at this point, with Jack Hughes out and a couple other injuries, they're really rotating the first power play and second power play. So he's actually getting a decent amount of time on the man advantage. And if you look at their last 4 games, he's played more minutes than Dougie Hamilton. He's producing at the same exact offensive rate as Luke Hughes and Dougie Hamilton as well, if you look at their analytical numbers. So at 30% rostered, those 2 guys are at least 80% rostered. So it doesn't really make too much sense in my head. I feel like this is the last time you'll be able to pick him up because he has 4 games this week, again, just like Balduke, 4 games the following week as well. So that's 6 players to add for weeks 9 and 10 of fantasy hockey. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode. Let us know what you thought of Larmer's first appearance on Cherry Picking as well, if you want to see him in the rotation for next episode, or maybe we'll just kick him out right after 1 episode. I don't know. Babs doesn't seem like he was too happy with his performance. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.